Hey there, bibliophiles and those raising bibliophiles. Without ratings and warning labels, finding which books are appropriate for your children to read is like navigating wild terrain without a compass and a map. I don't know about you, but I have been burned more than once handing my child a book that I thought was clean and appropriate for them to read. I'm a fellow mom, educator, reading specialist, and literary enthusiast, trying to find great books for my children and yours to read. If you're looking for real reviews from a real mom with a biblical worldview, then welcome and enjoy this week's book review. If you have been following me for a while, then you know that I absolutely love the City Spies series by James Ponti, and his recent book is London Calling. So I was super excited to get my hands on book 6 in this series, and I'm really hopeful that there's one more book. It seems almost like he was wrapping it up in this series, so I'm so hopeful. I'm holding out, James, for one more book in this series. So if you're unfamiliar with the City Spies series, please go to holdingsteadfastreaders.com. And if you go to the book series tab, any books that are part of a series, I have put those all in one location and under one heading for that book series to make it easy for you as parents to find information about those particular books in those series. And so you'll find the City Spies listed there. And definitely go and check out my other reviews for books 1 through 5. Overall, one of the things I have loved about this series is that it is super engaging. There's no profanity, nothing inappropriate. And so I definitely just want to encourage parents to kind of go check that out. But this is for book 6 and London Calling. And this is going to follow in the footsteps of the last 5 books. And so this novel does not disappoint at all. Annie Mother's missing estranged daughter is actually on the run due to Clementine's misbehavior, at least according to the leader of Umbra. And once word reaches Mother about that Annie is missing, Mother leaves with the help of Cairo and his son Robert, Paris, and Rio as they search for the breadcrumbs that will lead them to Annie's whereabouts. And so if any of that sounds super confusing and you're like, what? Mother is the code name for the father of the children. And he has adopted many of these children. Again, I would encourage you to go back and check out my other written reviews and videos about books in the City Spies series. That'll clear up a lot of confusion if you're unfamiliar with any of the other books in this series. Now, just like I've been doing this year, I'm going to read a little bit just of book 1. This is Annie. And just giving you a little bit of the writing style and some of the engaging stuff here. So Annie is in Istanbul, just for context. Life here was defined by unlikely encounters. Despite this, Annie couldn't help but think the man was out of place. She noticed him the moment she stepped outside after practice. He was muscular but bulky, built like a boxer, not a swimmer, and his fitted shirt and perfectly pressed pants were hardly garage appropriate. She watched as he dropped a cigarette to the ground and stubbed it out with the toe of his thick black boot. Judging by the other discards lying nearby, he's been waiting a while. Annie turned to her friend Gökçe and asked, "Who's the musclehead?" The girl gave her a confused look. "What is musclehead?" Gökçe Gökçe's English was so good that Annie sometimes forgot she was still learning it. "It just means a guy with lots of muscles." She bowed her arms in a flex, like a bodybuilder. "Ah, musclehead, I get it," Gökçe smiled, pleased to add new slang to her vocabulary. "I don't recognize him. He probably works at the garage." "Dressed like that? I don't think so. Besides, look at his hands. They're manicured. Not a spot of grease on them." "Okay, then he's a parent picking up one of our teammates." Annie gave her the side eye. "We're halfway through this season, and we've never seen him before. How do you explain that?" Gökçe laughed. "I don't explain that, because unlike you, I'm not an incredibly annoyed person." "I'm not incredibly annoyed," Annie said defensively. "I'm just curious because, wait a second, did you mean paranoid?" "That's the word. Annoyed, paranoid, they sound the same to me. You're the most paranoid 15-year-old in the world." Now it was Annie's turn to laugh, because there was more than a little truth to this. "Okay, that's fair. But believe me, if you came from my family, you'd be paranoid too." Annie's parents were both spies. Originally, they worked for MI6, British secret intelligence. But 6 years earlier, a mission in Paris had gone terribly wrong. She still didn't know all the specifics of what had happened, but she'd been living on the run ever since. And so that just sort of gives you a little taste of the writing style and where we are as we're opening up in book 6. Fortunately, Annie is recovered, and in the meantime, the farm is compromised, and Monty, Kat, Brooklyn, and Sydney barely escape with their lives. Their world is turned upside down, and knowing who exactly to trust and who is truly a double agent becomes difficult to discern. Once arriving back in London, the City Spies are tasked with helping secure the royal wedding, but it isn't until the last minute that they discover that they have been focusing in the wrong place the entire time. So the question is, will they be able to save the world's secrets, or will the villain finally get the upper hand? Because they have this special robot called Benny that helps them. And so we find out that the bad guys, the villains, the antagonists are trying to get a hold of that and use it as a weapon. Without giving too much away, your readers are going to absolutely love this installment of City Spies. In line with the other books in the series, like I said before, there's no profanity, there's nothing inappropriate, anything unsavory, just a wonderful, clean mystery with great themes. I encourage you to check out my website, holdingsteadfastreaders.com, for more details about the book. You do see some evolving relationship and some themes in the story coming together, some resolutions to some issues, especially between Mother and Clementine. He's been searching for Annie and his son Robert. We see come into the story a little bit sooner than Annie does. And so seeing sort of that kind of come together. And Mother really sets a good example for readers of his love for his wife and the children, realizing that there has to be an explanation for terrible things that have happened. And then prior to the scene with him and True, and he's learning some things that True had been hiding from him all along, he seems to offer forgiveness to her later in the story. And so I think that those are just some good things to work through and to talk about, or for your reader to experience. The story also, while the characters are strong, we also have strong parents and strong leadership from adults in the story who are helping the children sort of navigate, solve things, but also listening to them, but offering suggestions. So it's a great novel in so many ways. The only disappointment for me in this book was the way that it ends. It seemed as though Ponti was really wrapping up the stories to end it. The family is somewhat reconciled, a new life is beginning. And if there's other readers like me, I know that you are hopeful that this is not the end, that there will be a book 7. But if you have enjoyed the City Spies thus far, they're going to absolutely love London Calling, as we see all the characters, Clementine, Annie, all coming together. You have the aspect of Umbra and secret double agents and the royal wedding and confusion about diverting attention, and really trying to, with the reader along with the characters, trying to solve this mystery and figure out exactly what is happening. So if you have enjoyed this week's book review, I hope that you will join me next week for another book review, and that this information continues to be helpful for you as parents as you are trying to navigate and find appropriate books for your children to read.